Here with the Hall of Famer Reggie Miller for a look at the Central Division. And let's start with last year's Central Division champions, the Chicago Bulls. They were rolling, and then it all went wrong when the playoffs began and Derrick Rose's injury. What can they do early on in the season without Rose out there to keep themselves afloat and give themselves a chance at the back half?
Well, remember, Derrick Rose had some injuries last season before this huge knee injury. But the one thing his teammates understood is he was coming back at one time. So I think that's why the Bulls kept that level of consistency going, because they knew they were getting Derrick Rose back. This is a different scenario. Derrick Rose is not expected back until probably late February, early March at the earliest. So guys are really going to have to step in. They lost some key contributors from last year's squad. Ronnie Brewer's gone. C.J. Watson, who I thought was fantastic, filling in the absence of Derrick Rose. They pick up Kurt Heinrich. They drafted Marquise Teague from the champs of Kentucky. It's going to be interesting to see how they balance that point guard situation. But to me, it all comes down to Carlos Boozer. He has to find a way to regain that all-star form that he had in Utah. If he can do that, and Luol Deng and Boozer can combine points-wise, they can stay afloat, but it's going to be very difficult.
Well, since you identified Boozer as, if I'm reading you correctly, their most important guy during this gap, what can they do to get him going? He's been a disappointment since he arrived in Chicago.
Well, if you're Tom Thibodeau, you're going to have to run the offense through Carlos Boozer. And I wouldn't be surprised if Joakim Noah, we know what he can do at the defensive end, if he becomes a little bit more aggressive at the offensive end. Taj Gibson is going to have to play a little bit more, but you're right. They're going to have to run the offense through Carlos Boozer, but he's going to have to want and demand the basketball as well. I thought he was more of a supporting role, playing behind Deng and playing behind Rose the last couple of years. This is a chance for him to be a star again.
Bulls fans, you know, they want Derrick Rose back right now. What is a reasonable expectation for them in terms of getting the MVP back, and what he can do when he does return?
Well, because of science, it's great to know that knee injuries, guys are coming back quicker, but this is the first major injury for Derrick Rose. And you've got to be patient in a situation like this. So Bulls fans, you've got to be patient, allow him to fully recover. If I'm the Bulls, I don't bring him back until late February, beginning of March, to make sure he's 100% ready to go, because you can still have him for that playoff run.